Sega fucking CD. Yep, that's right. Got one of these, and now here's the big ass load of Sega, you know? Genesis 32X, and of course Sega CD. And it is the Model 2 because the Model 2 is a superior Sega CD, at least compared to the Model 1. There was also stuff like the JVC XI, which combined both the Sega CD and the Genesis. And there was also like the Sega CD X, and there was also like an attachment for the Pioneer Laser Active that lets you play Genesis and Sega CD games. But like, yeah, it's actually great to finally have one of these things. I mean, yeah, this thing is made fun of and kind of infamous for games like Sewer Shark or, you know, Night Trap, especially Night Trap and stuff like that. But honestly, if you ignore all those like QTE, FMV kind of games, you know, there are some like great freaking games for this system. There really are some like hidden gems and stuff that people, you know, don't give that much attention to, I think. So that's why I decided to get a Sega CD. Granted, it was definitely more expensive than both the Genesis and the 32X, but, you know, hey, it's still a great thing to have. And, you know, I think the Sega CD is a legitimately good system. You know, there are enough redeeming qualities about it, you know, to make it good, you know? I mean, definitely it has its problems, you know, because, for one, it was really expensive when it first came out. So it's like, you know, if you wanted to get, like, some fancy Sega CD game, you'd have to get both this and that and the game. That would probably be, like, what, $600? That'd be a lot of fucking money. But hey, it's still, you know, great to have this. Obviously, you know, didn't pay anywhere near as much as that. At least, yeah, pretty much, because, you know, this was $130. So, I believe this makes this the most expensive retro system I ever bought. I don't know, maybe the Virtual Boy, because the Virtual Boy, at least my Virtual Boy, came with lots of games. Anyways, let's talk about the games that I got here. Sonic CD, yeah. This is the game I put the most time into, and I beat it, you know, because I had beat it before on Sonic Gems Collection, but because, I guess, from my previous nearly 6 years experience with this game, you know, I was able to have a much smoother run playing this, because, you know, whenever I play Sonic CD, I just try to go for the time stones, because, honestly, I don't like going for, like, the past posts and then, like, going at a certain speed so you can warp to the past and destroy the robot generators, because, honestly, it's just an annoying, like, scavenger hunt. And granted, getting the time stones can be also annoying, because, you know, it's get 50 rings and reach the end of the stage. But honestly, I think the special stages in Sonic CD are way more manageable than, say, the special stages in Sonic 2, and maybe to an extent Sonic 1, because I've never gotten all the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic 2. But I have here, and, you know, hey, Sonic CD, it's a damn good game, and honestly, if you're going to play it, I do recommend going after the time stones, assuming you want the good ending. And of course, you know, I can't mention the fact that, well, Sonic CD... Well, I can't forget to mention the fact that Sonic CD has my favorite soundtrack of any Sonic game. And because, as we know, this game, you know, was, like, had two different soundtracks, one in Japan and one in North America. And, to be honest, I like them both. I love them both equally. I can't say I like one over the other. I mean, definitely there are tracks that are better. Like, for one, I think Wacky Workbench, the North American version, is way better than the Japanese version. But at the same time, I also think that Quartz Quadrant, Good Future, and Metallic Madness is also better in Japan than it is in North America. But, hey, you know, enough about that. But, of course, Sonic CD, it's great, you know, great game. And it's also great to have, too, you know, like, goddamn, it really does feel satisfying to finally own Sonic CD. Of course, you know, being the big Sonic fan that I am, trying to get every Sonic game that I can. And, Sylphied, yes, Sylphied. Now, before I talk about, well, I might as well quickly talk about the game. It's a shooter, you know, it's got, like, the graphic styles of something like Sega's Virtua Fighter or Virtua Racing, kind of that, like, textureless, polygonal look for the most part, but graphically it does look pretty nice. I do like its little effect. And, you know, it's like I said before, it's a shooter, a pretty good one, actually. I don't find it ball-bustingly fucking hard. and I feel that like taking out the enemies isn't too much of a chore either. Just there's something really unique and interesting about Sylphid, gameplay wise. It's kind of hard to explain, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but there's one fatal flaw with it, and it's not with the gameplay itself. Well, let me open it up here. Now, as you can see, I have a burned copy of Sylphid, but here is my legitimate copy of Sylphid. Thing is, with the legit copies of Sylphid, as you can see, this is in pretty damn good shape, minus, like, honestly, I don't really see many bumps. There's, like, a very, very tiny nick right there, but honestly, the thing is with Sylphid is that Sylphid is sensitive as fuck. Like, really sensitive. Like, almost every copy of Sylphid out there will probably do this. The game will lock up, just randomly. It'll randomly say, disk read error or something, and it's not the Sega CD, it's the game. And I can tell you why, because when it does that, it brings you back to the title screen, but it lets you continue from what stage you were on. And I remember reading about this on a forum, where I think every time it lets you continue, the game tries to play it in a different format. Because if I remember correctly, the game doesn't load while it's playing the stages. I've heard that every time you play a stage, everything loads all at once before the stage, plays. Which I guess makes, it's sensitive as to why it will randomly say, oh, disk read error, and then send you back to the title screen, making this almost unplayable. And yet this was $30, and I didn't even know that that was a problem with Sylphid. So that's why I had to make a burned copy so I could, play Sylphid without problems. And that kind of shatters me, because, I'm not, like, trying to belittle burned games, especially, like, at least older ones, because honestly, Sega isn't fucking making money off of these. They're just not. But it's like, really? I just don't understand. In fact, I think I'm pretty sure every copy of Sylphid has that issue where, it's sensitive because of, stupid loading game design. But just like, god damn. Just, I don't know. But hey, it's still nice to have, but that is really an inexcusable flaw. Alright, well, next up, I got Battle Core. Not Battle Corpse, but Battle Core. I remember on a GameSack, a show that I mention every now and then, Joe and Dave talked about this. I think they talked about it twice. Once in their Mech Games episode, and then another time in their Sega CD episode. And it didn't impress me as much as Core, the company. The other game that Core made for the Sega CD, which was, what the hell was it? It was a Soul Star. Yeah, Soul Star. And I really wanted to get Soul Star, but Soul Star is like, fucking $70. While this I got at a game store for $30. And it's a mech game, right here as you can see. Yeah, it's like a little mech game. You control a mech and you just basically got to destroy something or a certain amount of things. I did get past the first level, and I did toy around a little bit in the other levels. I do want to play this a little more, but it's interesting, and graphically it's very nice, especially for Sega CD, because one thing the Sega CD really pushed was its rotating and scaling, something that the Genesis really couldn't do. That, and of course CD quality music, because Sega CD games, almost all of them seem to have, like, good music, or at the very least 3 or so tracks that really stand out. Like, they really knew what the hell they were doing when they composed music for a lot of these Sega CD games. And this one especially, too, because, I think it's track 6 or track 7 on the disc that plays. That track is fucking awesome. If you're curious, I guess you can look up Battle Core Sega CD music, and a guy on YouTube appropriately named Sega CD Music uploaded the whole game soundtrack, and I believe if you go to track 6 or track 7, you'll know what I mean. But yeah, Battle Core is pretty good. And we have Bram Stoker's Dracula. This game fucking sucks. I really don't get what they were trying to, like, go with this. Like, all it is just you're going from, and going to point A to point B while kicking, stuff and punching stuff along with the FMV cutscene, because, that's one thing the Sega CD is really remembered for, but, like, it just controls awfully, it just doesn't play well. It plays incredibly odd and stiff. It's just, I don't even know what they were trying to go here. Are they trying to go for, like, a beat-em-up or a platformer, but they, had to, like, slow things down so you're not just blazing through the levels and find out that the game is really bland designed and horribly designed? Because really, I just don't understand it. You should, like, look up gameplay and look at it for like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and go, you'll see what I mean. Because I just don't understand what they're trying to go with this. Just going, because it's not really platforming except for a little bit in the first level. There's hardly any platforming. The levels are really designed flat and boring. It's just like, I don't understand. I really don't understand what the hell they were trying to do with this. I just don't. And the last game I got here is ESPN National Hockey Night. Why? Because I don't know, I wanted a multiplayer game for the Sega CD. And this case that I have isn't actually the case it came with. As you can see, it's broken. This isn't the case that I bought it with. I used that on a different game that, yeah, you know what? I guess I could talk about it now, but, actually, real quick, I'll mention something about ESPN National Hockey Night. It's, yeah, notice how I'm going further back to grab the game to talk about. But it's hockey, it's got some neat little FMV clips, because again, that's one thing the Sega CD really loved. But yeah, how about I talk about that game then? In fact, this game that I'm going to show you was the first game I got in 2016, much like how this is the first video I made in 2016. 10 Pin Alley on Sega Saturn. Yeah, this whole episode is just about Sega, but in this case, Sega Saturn and Sega CD. Actually, this is the case for Bram Stoker's Dracula, but what I did is that... okay, it's kind of a complicated story. This is the case that 10 Pin Alley came in. This is the case that Bram Stoker's Dracula came in. And this is also the case that ESPN National Hockey Night came in. So basically, I just took the case from Dracula, put it in 10 Pin Alley. I put the case from 10 Pin Alley into ESPN National Hockey Night, and I put the National Hockey Night case into Dracula. Yeah. See if you can understand that, but hey, whatever. Let's move on. And yeah, 10 Pin Alley, my first game of 2016. I know I said that already. What the hell? But yeah, it's bowling. As you can see, it's bowling the way you like it without the shoes. Well, I haven't gone bowling in like 5 or 6 years, honestly. It's been some time. Not that I really plan to, because I'm not really all about that. But this game, it's actually, I like it. It's pretty good. It is definitely has a bit of a learning curve, because more often than not, I just somehow get the ball in the gutter, and I'm not doing that on purpose. I'm just legitimately trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do to get the ball to stay straight while it's going down the lane. But I don't know. There's something about it, It just there's a certain charm to this game. I don't know how else to explain it. Plus, it's one of 3 bowling games that I actually own. Because, yeah. The other 2 being Nestor's Funky Bowling and Bowling on the Atari 2600. But yeah, it's also interesting because this game, the Saturn version only came out in North America. This game was also on the PlayStation 1, where it came out in North America and in Europe, but Japan, I don't think, ever got this game at all. So yeah, I got a North American exclusive game, at least the Saturn version, Saturn.